What's up, everybody? A Spare with a Gun here from Sleepless Nights with another episode on Space Engineers, working back again on the Corvette build as always. Does kind of seem to be the thing, doesn't it? Always. Anyways, so in the last episode we were working on our elevator access point here to the CIC, and having a little bit of, I shouldn't say an issue, but more of just a decision-making process of trying to figure out how we wanted the platform to work for the elevator to get up in here. And I was looking at this and reading comments and things like that. A few of you had a couple of good ideas, but I was thinking there's a part of me that didn't even consider this, but I kind of realized, why bring the floor to the elevator when you could bring the elevator to the floor? So I started analyzing in my head spaces and things like that, and how far things could drop and stuff like that, and I think that might actually be a viable option. So what I'm gonna do is wait for this to process what I just typed. There we go. What is this? Oh, I'm in large grid. Dang it. Small grid. Ah, haha, there we go. Large mergeless pipe. Okay, so that's not elevator. This guy. Okay, so that's in my hotbar now. That'll work. Okay, for a minute there, the red made me think I had mirror mode on. So we're going to take this out, actually. And I think, since we already messed with this wall, I think we're going to use this wall for our testing environment. And I'm essentially, what I'm basically going to try and do here is, instead of filling up the hallway with a platform, oops, that's the wrong, a pad, I'm going to try and do kind of the opposite. And let's do that into the ceiling. That's what I'm going to try and do anyway. So let's work off of, let's say like this, because we're going to need at least one row. I think we're going to need two if I don't. Now I could do a small pad. Let's do that first. Let's do that first. So what I'm thinking here is, if we have something like this. Now I know this is going to have to change up here a little bit more. I still haven't quite worked out all of that stuff yet, but we're just going to experiment with this before we get into the corners and whatnot to see if this actually would hold up under scrutiny. I think it will, because if we do everything right, then it should have... Oops. This is going to be the only problem, is this corner block. Okay, that's good to know. Well, the only other thing is we need to lower this, don't we? That's okay. That's the problem here. So we took a row out on these four edges. I might not should have done that now that I'm thinking about this. So let's put this back for a second. I think I need that to be where it is. And then we're going to start from here. Like I said, I'm kind of winging this, so we're going to see how this ends up turning out. We're going to need one there. I don't know if I measured this right. Probably not. Okay, for now I'm just going to build into that wall there and see how that goes. So if we do one like this... Now, I probably should do a row like this. Wait, no, that's going to lower... That's going to constrict the frame, though. I need it to be 5 by 5. Okay, that's not going to work. Let me mess around with this a little bit here. Okay, so good news and bad news. The good news is this actually does kind of work. the height and everything works fine, that you can walk under it. The bad news, well, and it also keeps the hallway clear to where you're not going up and down and things. You can just kind of walk underneath and keep going. And it doesn't quite look so, I don't know, pronounced, I guess is probably the word that I'm looking for. The bad news is twofold. And I'm going to go into spectator mode so I don't have to keep opening the elevator. So the bad news is this door. See, originally I was going to do this all the way around and have it kind of wrap like we had the landing pad kind of thing. And then I ran into this door that it kept sticking through the angled blocks. For example, I can probably throw them together real quick. So this is kind of how it looked before I messed with it, like that, which arguably did look a little bit better. But the door sticks out whenever it's closed, which is just a huge eyesore. And then I thought, well, I could just kind of bevel it in a little bit, and I'm still kind of seeing the door. Not to mention, this guy is a bit of an issue in the upper area here, which I had rounded off nicely, and it looked really cool, and I was like, okay, I'm happy with that. And then, basically over here, I noticed that it's doing what it's doing over here, which was if you put an inverted on the other side, like this, to where it's all flat and curved, then it sticks through on this side, which kind of sucks. So my latest and greatest endeavor is essentially to scrap this kind of curved section, right? And basically what I intend to do, and I don't know if this is going to look as good as I had originally envisioned it, because I really wasn't thinking about the door. But what I'm thinking is doing like this, and then having, say, something like that in place. Oops, no, that's too far back. Something kind of to this effect. And I don't really know if I like this or not yet. I'm not really sure what I'd end up doing with this, because ultimately it still probably needs to be sealed off. Oh no, I know what I'd do is instead of that I would do this right here, bring this down to a corner like so, probably, and I would end up having to close this off, is what I'm thinking would end up happening. Let's do it like that. We'd close this off, I think, to kind of try and match it a little bit. And then maybe we could get away with a rim, like so. It's kind of what I'm thinking it would turn into, which doesn't look bad, actually. In some ways, I think it looks a little bit better than this over here, where the wall kind of tried to come up to meet it. I don't know. I'm kind of mixed. But if I did it this way, it would also allow me to go back to up here, the more original idea, which is having the blocks end there instead of the other way around. Like this. Yeah, like that. So it would allow me to do this up here, which arguably does look a lot better than the down section. I don't really know that it makes a super big deal difference in terms of the, like, it was okay the way it was before, flat against the wall. But a lot of it comes down to the downstairs section. Let's see. Okay, so that's the so we were getting rid of this. That's the. I was like, how is this gonna work? It's kind of forgetting my own idea. Okay, so then we would do like so. Get rid of that one. We do that. We can bring this down. And we would bring this to meet like so. And it would continue. So that's kind of how it would look. Or the other option, if we didn't want to redo all of this, is have this essentially kind of taper back into this wall. That's another thing that I'm trying to isolate the airlock system before I really mess with the outer airlock, because it's going to come down to how we design this in terms of if we keep this kind of design, which I guess we don't really have to, due to the whole even if we brought the wall up, we don't necessarily need it to be in kind of thing. So we could go back to this kind of style anyway. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point, I think. Let me double check and make sure there's nothing that prevents me from bringing this wall in. Let's see if these are corner, I could bring that in one more and still be okay, I think. We're going to do a half and half on this side as well. I like doing that because it gives everybody a kind of a visual comparison to work with. Yeah, okay, see, that's what I was concerned about is... Well, actually, I don't really need to be concerned about it either. Because, I'm going to tell you why. Even if I bring this in one more and then have to go around it, I can still bring it back one and bring it back into this wall. In fact, I might actually do that now that I'm looking at it. Nope. You go there. So either way, we could probably expand or retract, depending on how you look at it. Our airlock here, our external airlock, and that will allow us to, let's see, do you go there? Yes, okay. Well, yeah, okay, you do. And then we put this here to kind of pad that. And then we put one here to even it up. Okay, so that could work. And then we'll do single blocks stepping up. And that should basically tie everything in. Okay. And the last step is to extend that out. Okay, so we can expand that out by one, which then effectively, whether we keep this or not, lets this wall stay the same length. So that's good. And the only thing is, we're going to have to switch this around, and I don't remember how I did that. I think it was... Let me look at this wall. Oh, I never did. Okay. I end capped them. Oh. Alright. Oh, no, wrong button. Okay, so I brought it to an end back here. Oh, okay. So then, effectively, what that means is we could finish things off with that right there. Or run it down a little further, you know, something like that. We could bring it a little further out if we wanted to. In fact, we could do like this. Just kind of for like a uniformity's sake. You know, just so that the edge kind of comes out about the same type of thing. So we could do that. I don't know. Is there enough room? There is not. I was going to say, I don't know if there's any room to bring this in there, though we don't really need it. The way this is set up, there's a vent back here, so we don't really, now that this is two separate areas, we don't really even need this vent air system. Though, this is not separated from the main system. Okay, that's something I might need to... Oh, you know what I could do? I could run it right through here, where we had the extra stuff and things. Oops. Crap. I hate when I delete blocks and I don't know where they were. Ooh. Whoops. Okay, well at least that gives me room to work with. Assuming I can actually see what I'm doing. So yeah, one way or another we... Crap, what did I do? I keep doing that, dagnabbit. I'm in spectator mode. I shouldn't be deleting stuff that I don't want. Anyways. I could probably run an oxygen tank through here and then have a vent out here or something to that effect. But either way, not really a big deal. So it basically comes down to if we want a actual landing pad here, or do we want it to be a little bit sunk down and then have the elevator come down this way. And I have to be honest, I don't really know which way I prefer. I kind of feel like this makes it look smaller, and it might just be because it's closer to your head level, so it feels like you're having to duck even though you're not. So I'm not entirely sure that I prefer that. I may want to go back to this over here, where it kind of brings things up to you. I don't think... You know what? We'll probably do it that way, but I'm going to mess with it a little bit. I'm going to make a new save based on this so that I have this to go back to if everybody likes it this way. And then we're going to work on this side, and we're going to bring it kind of the opposite. Okay, so here is what I'm ultimately left with, if we do it this way. So there's two versions on the left and the right. I call this one Bring the Elevator to the Wall, and I call this one Bring the Wall to the Elevator, because that's basically what I did. This one I stretched all the way across. I do think the left one gives you a bit more of an open feel. The right... I think the right would give it more of a... Ironically enough, considering the source material for building this ship, I do think the right one gives it a bit more of a Star Destroyer kind of feel. And the reason I say that is mainly, and I'm not actually doing this for permanency, I'm just doing it to show kind of what I'm meaning in case it isn't quite being conveyed. The reason I say that is because of this effect, which I like to dub the TIE Fighter effect. It gives it more of a... Why am I... Oh, I'm crouched. Okay, I was like, why am I walking so slow? It gives it kind of a TIE Fighter, Star Destroyer, Death Star kind of corridor effect, where they usually did those curves on the top and bottom, which I honestly hadn't really thought about. I just liked how it looked, and now that I'm thinking about it, that actually does kind of have a Star Destroyer kind of feel. Enough so, I know this is a little late in the game, no pun intended, but it makes me wonder, maybe not so much with these, because these are horizontal, well, not horizontal, left and right facing doors, but it makes me wonder with this corridor if I should actually bring the wall out one and follow this line, so that the whole floor actually has that effect. Though the only problem with that is the way these doors are set up, it would basically be in front of the door, which I don't know if that would work well or not. But if you did something like this, you know, it would be kind of in the way, but it would kind of give it a little more of that that kind of look there. But I have to admit, I originally thought I liked this one better, but when I put this wall over here and I'm looking at it from both ways, I kind of like that a little bit better than having it fully open. I think the difference is before, when we did this, it merged into a door so we couldn't really see it. But now with the open kind of corridor area, that actually doesn't look as bad as I thought it would. And there is benefits to this. You could put like a light or a button here, kind of thing, to call the elevator and retract it or whatever. You know, you could make it kind of purposed base, and I'm actually kind of talking myself into this at the moment. So tell you what, this shouldn't actually be too hard to remedy. So all I'm gonna do is get rid of that. What would it basically entail? I gotta bring this out a little bit, but other than that, it's really not, shouldn't be that difficult. Okay, so that's how the end product would look when we finished it. Arguably not that much different than the way we had it originally. I do think there's a few things I changed, like I don't know that we beveled it on the top and the bottom before. I'm pretty sure we didn't. I really can't remember now that I think about it. But this does look a little bit different to me. I don't know what it is. Something's different about it. I'm not sure what, but something is. I was just looking at the door frames. But yeah, I don't know if it's because there's... I think what it is that before we had this brought around to connect to the door, and so it lost the visual curve, because this kind of looks like a TIE Advanced or a TIE Bomber type wing shape. And so because we're not bringing this back around to a door frame, I think is why I noticed it this time. But, and I have a button here on the side, if I can get to it. Why are you not working? There we go. So I might move those just for convenience, I don't know. And then one over here for closing. So there's that. And then back on this area, if we came back here, it kind of looks the same way. I pretty much mirrored it, except for this kind of tapers off and this connects in. So there's that. Now, if we wanted to keep this vent type of system, which actually I can get rid of this because this is no longer connected to anything. So let's grab this and fill that in. And we can even move those lights now, and could put them like over here or something. But I could put a vent system in here, probably, on both sides or something, and they would actually be the primary, like, after all of this has set to depressurize, then this vents or something. I don't know how that'll work, because this is really not... Actually, I guess I don't really need one here. I would need it down here, which I think we implemented on both sides. And then this would be where that gets, you know, you'd click a button, that would get retracted, these would set to depressurize to suck all the air out, and then you'd go down the way, and vice versa. This would come up, everything would fill in, and then you would get this extended down. So this exists separately now from the original airlock system. So there's that, which is kind of cool. Now there is a bit of an elephant in the room that I just thought of, actually. And that is, I'm not 100% sure, but considering the space changes, like the fact that now there's a much larger clearance to the actual floor. Oh yeah, and by the way, these pistons are purple now. I think that's a mod thing. That, since they did major updates and things, I guess the mod needs to be updated for proper texture use or something. I don't really know what what that is. So that's a thing. That happened. And now that I noticed, also, I need to redo these. Because I had these with vents. Oh boy, I didn't think about that. Will they retract? Ooh, I didn't think about that. I had these set up with armor panels before. Ooh. Tell you what, let me save it real quick, and we're gonna try that. Okay, moment of truth here. Fixed weapon pistons. Nope. 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 Nope, not gonna work. Alright, well, that's out. So yeah, I'll have to come up with a new solution for concealing these, or not really concealing, it just kind of looks weird that, you know, you can kind of see up into the ship. I don't like that. Admittedly, if that's not going to work because of the new piston setup, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. I guess I could always do, like, blast blocks with the offset and go up to, like, here or something, and then cover the rest of it with armor plates or something. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what I want to do there. That was just kind of a thing that I noticed after I flew through and realized that it had a thing. Anyways, what I started to say about that, I don't think it'll work now that I'm looking at all the different parts and bits and bobs. I was going to say that I don't know that we couldn't go back to the original ramp setup because of how much more space there is between the hull now. But, nah, now that I'm looking at it, I don't think that actually would work. So anyways, I think we're going to wrap things up here for today. But let me know what you guys think in the comments, because I think I like this. I don't know about the buttons, but overall I think that's going to work the best, and it doesn't look too... I don't know what it is that I did differently, but it just doesn't look quite as bulky as it did before. Maybe it's nothing different, maybe it's the same thing, and it just took me a while to see it. Maybe it's because it doesn't taper back into a door frame. I don't know. And you can let me know if this is too wide, too. If it's like, if we should keep it narrow once it narrows to this depth, and then just keep it that way. We could do something like that. It actually wouldn't be that hard to do. Because effectively, I would just have it kind of take all this out and just make a wall here and have this just bevel into the wall and then stop. Or down here anyways, you could have it continue along with the beveled shape or something to that effect. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. In the meantime, I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, and I'll see you all next time. Peace!